Ladies and gents, welcome back to Dark Realms of Odyssey. This is Marcian, or such Paradoxon, and like I've said beforehand, there's still one more thing that we ought to do before we completely end off on Dark Realms 1, and that is the good old-fashioned thoughts and such video. So that's exactly what we're going to be doing. So right off the bat, I'm going to check what this sign said because I forgot. Was this sign bothering you? Oh, sorry. Yeah, okay, I remember now. So right off the bat, very simplistic looking, yet still effective starting area. Liked it quite a bit. Like the inclusion of that meme sign. I gotta say, I really like this mechanic of having actual lives and then getting more lives the more wool or things you put down the monument. Now the only issue that I think with that, and that kind of ties into the overall difficulty of the map, which kind of spirals out near the end, that it doesn't feel as difficult or difficult at all in certain aspects in the slightest, because like I died once, that was in the early game. After I've got some decent gear and enchanting and all that was set up, it was basically, unless you fell into the void, you're indestructible. So maybe I should have picked the hardcore one, to be honest, looking back in hindsight, but again, the mechanic is still pretty neat, nonetheless. Having a set amount of lives and then getting more as you get more objectives. I also really enjoyed the inclusion of this little boy here. This was a good meme. Even though he doesn't blow up, but still, pretty cool nonetheless. Alright, I think I'm gonna actually turn off that counter because it's gonna bother me. So, there. Is there something behind here? I don't think I've ever checked. No, there wasn't. Okay, well in that case, let us head to the first area, the Undead Catacombs. Right, and I should probably give myself some night vision. Effect. Give that there, like for a long time, and then go into spectator mode. Oops. There. Right, so Undead Catacombs. Pretty straightforward area. Pretty much. I did like the fact, I don't know why, that you get the thing so early on. Honestly, I think that's a very cool idea. I've always would have loved, I don't know if that's a thing, but maybe it is, or like a reverse CTM map, where you already have all the objectives on you, but you have to put them back in their place. I think that would be kind of neat. Sorry, had to do a little quick jump cut there. My brother came in for his controller. Any case, I digress. But yeah, I always would have loved if there was a map which is like a reverse CTM map that you already have all the objectives on you right off the bat, and then you've got to put them back in their place. I really like the fact that you get the crystal right off the bat. Also, the inclusion of the shulker boxes in the objective boxes makes things, I didn't know that this was just a flat world and then there's villages out there. That's kind of neat and weird at the same time. In any case, yeah, the shulker box is a very neat addition and very useful addition at that as well into the objective boxes. Pretty straightforward area, pretty good starting one as well, not too difficult, there's plenty of loot around to go, and I feel like there were a lot more of these honeypots in the earlier sections from the looks of it, because there's like two big one of these here, but like later down the line you always get a lot of mobs everywhere, so maybe it was intentional, maybe it wasn't, I don't know. But this is a pretty cool area nonetheless, surprisingly big when you look at it from the outside, to be honest as well. Doesn't feel this big. I always loved how ruined and broken down this looked, and the little segmented section of like how they just come in modules basically one after the other, and then just stacked on top of each other. It's pretty simple, pretty neat design in my opinion. It's pretty cool. And then we had a little boss fight here, mini boss, whatever you want to call him. And then we move on to intersection Uno. It's pretty simple, straight looking intersection, again nothing too fancy, but still it works. The little resource area with the coal and then the extra mobs here and that's pretty neat. Would have loved if there was some loot in there, but that's besides the point. And I especially love this little shit here. thankfully didn't fall for this, but this is a really good trap, and I like the fact that you put an extra bed behind it. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Did not fall for it though. But in any case, so let us move to the first area, the Abyssal Mines. The emeralds were a neat little addition. To be fair, it was only one emerald that I really struggled with, but we'll talk about that when we get to that area. But in general, the emeralds and the little power-up system you get with the emeralds, which I'll talk about when we get to the monument, was also pretty neat. So yeah, so Abyssal Mines. Big fan of this area, of how it looks. Always been a fan of doing stuff with stained clay and all that. Now, as far as like the area size, this is a massive step up towards the first one. This is a very long area, and not only just like this section, because there's like plenty of places to go around. Oops, there's an alpaca here. Probably wandering through if I had to make a guess. But like there's a lot of side areas where you can go at. But this is here with the emeralds too. Again, most side areas were I assume made for the emeralds to be held, to be honest, or put. But like just little coal deposits here and there. It's just overall a very surprisingly big area, I'd say. And then you come down one floor lower, and then the mineshaft bit starts off, which also adds a lot to it, to be honest. This was the bit that extended it the most, I think. Because if it was just this, then it would have not lasted that long, and it would have not felt that long, in my opinion. But this little labyrinthine looking thing added to it, which now that you look at it, isn't actually that big, to be fair, but it just feels big. I don't know, it was weird, but it is pretty cool nonetheless. And then you come out of here, you get to the almost final bit of the area. Again, loot was plenty of all around. Loot's pretty decent all around, especially in the early game. Loot was pretty good. So let me hydrate 1 second. So that was perfectly fine. I have no words or anything negative on the loot, and loot's been always good. And then you come down to the final bit. I like the fact that it actually isn't void. It's just seems like it's void, so it gives the player a scare that it might be void. This bit's kind of mean, but I mean, I get it. Need to have some action, some excitement added to it. And then you get to the box, then you get it. Pretty straightforward area. Go down a spiral, go down low, pick the thing up, get back up. It's pretty straightforward. So yeah, overall, pretty nice starting area. That I saw like a chest in that crystal. Crystal reminds me of God, what was that area? There's like an area in Spellbound Caves that had like a massive crystal like that hanging, or multiple of them to be precise. But yeah, I digress. Yeah, looking at the honeypots, there's not a lot of them. This is probably the most amount of honeypots that we've seen so far. And it doesn't seem like it gets any more after that, in any case. So the next area on the list is the Deathfire Forges, aka the Loot Fiesta Forges, sorry. I like how he switched up, I assume intentionally, the two areas, so that orange isn't always the lava themed area. So that's a good meme. I like that. This is a fun area. I really enjoyed this one. Not only does you have like an actual threat to you now that you can fall into the lava at any given time, but the little setup, how it's like set up, that it's floors above each other, like layered like a cake, and then when you're like on the bottom floor, shit can still fall on top of your head. Things can spawn on this as well, and especially that becomes apparent when, again, there's not many, or not at all. Whatchamacallit here? Honeypots in the slightest. I didn't think that this would be just like a flat word, honestly, and then just I assume MC edited the big stone blocks and then carved out. I thought it was gonna be a void word in any case. But yeah, pretty fun area. Again, there's a reason why it was called Loot Fiesta Forges, because there's just loot everywhere pretty much. And then you get to this little main forge bit. Again, another boss. And now on the topic of bosses, I wouldn't say that this is necessarily Kuni's fault, because I don't think it is, but making costume bosses unless it's like very heavily modded or like server sided or stuff like that. It's almost impossible just because of how Minecraft's working in general. I think it's like, if you look at, and this is gonna be a tiny bit of a sidetrack, but yeah, this was the prime example of what happened in here, I think, because he was here. Yeah, the blacksmith was here, I'm pretty sure. Is that yeah, unless you've got some very fancy tech going on, you literally could just block the stairs and then just hit him from the side, or just shoot him with a bow, and there's not much not doing interaction, but just not much. I mean, you can say interaction, I suppose. But again, I think that's Minecraft's fault for the only two boss mobs actually working as a boss mob is obviously the Ender Dragon and the Wither. Because making a normal regular mob into one doesn't work that well, in my opinion. So again, I don't think it's Kunis' fault. He did everything he could to get the best out of these mini bosses, the actual main bosses, and some of the main bosses are actually pretty decent. Well, again, we'll get to that when we get to that. Had to hydrate there again, sorry. I don't think it just works really well, honestly, which is a shame, because some of the boss ideas he had in this were pretty cool. But again, I will talk about them individually when we get to them. But again, just to preface, I don't think this is Kunis' fault at all. I think it's just Minecraft doesn't really allow, unless you go really heavy into the modding and the MBT dating and all that crap that I have no clue what I'm talking about, sort of stuff. Then you can't really pull off a good boss battle based off of a regular mob, because it just doesn't work, in my opinion. You have to be very talented to be able to pull something like that off. But overall, what is this? Oh, it's really just a loot stash, so we can see the items that he wanted to use. Yeah, alright, cool. Yeah, I'm hoping I can find some stuff like that. Like, there's also a thing like that down there. We'll check that out in a bit too. But yeah, overall, still a pretty fun area. I haven't even talked about this bit yet. This was the whole loot fiesta in itself. That was pretty cool. I don't know what's this a reference to. I'm like 100% sure it's a CTMC meme, but I do not have any clue who it's referencing and whatnot. But yeah. Also, getting the enchantment table this early on, and then getting this many books, you basically have a complete enchanted table set up by what, area 3. Yeah, that I wouldn't even say, maybe it's like not meant to be a very hard map, I suppose, but like that just kind of unleashes all sorts of hell on the map itself, and the mobs of it mostly, because then you can save up a couple of mob spawners, you can start farming like crazy, get a lot of XP. There were lapis in this area too, in a specific cave somewhere here. Yeah, right here. And then you can just go to town with enchanting. So after that point, you're pretty good as far as equipment goes. So yeah, and there's a couple of enemies around here which you can use to combine other stuff. So again, game just kind of becomes trivial after that on that point. But in any case, and then finally last area, the Downpour Caverns, which is where we had the first proper boss fight. Now, I've never been too keen on underwater levels. I think I voiced this opinion maybe in other videos and whatnot, but I've never been a big fan of, not just in Minecraft, in any game. If you have an underwater level, all my homies hate underwater levels. But yeah. But to be fair, this was sort of done in the nice way, because the whole thing wasn't just underwater. They had underwater sections, but not the whole thing was underwater. And even then, the underwater parts didn't feel like a chore, I guess you could say, because you kind of get lost in this complete mess of a cavern system underwater. But still, there weren't too many threats underwater. It wasn't like such a hustle to go in and then trying to get out properly, safely, without getting your ass handed to you. So it was actually done very well, I'd say. I think it was done very well. This middle area feels a bit empty, I guess you could say, because like the earlier parts here, it's like you had these little things about here that you like go up in like a spiral. You have all these different resources and all that. And there's honeypots here as well, but again, I'd say these are a tiny bit too many or too much. Not not enough. I can't speak English. What the hell? But yeah. But this bit just like unless you say this thing here. Other than that, it feels a bit empty. I don't know. I mean, it's not like you could have fitted much in here that fits thematically with this area. Cause it's just supposed to be a cave that was filled with water, but it isn't anymore to a certain level. I guess it sort of works, but still, I don't know what I would have put in there. I'm just talking on my ass because yeah, but I digress. But yeah, and then we had a boss fight here. If I can find my boss boy. That is the entrance. That is not where the boss is. That's the intersection is. It's gotta be here somewhere. Yup, here it is. And then here's the actual first proper boss fight. Is this gonna work like this? Yeah, it does. So yeah, the issue again that you can't really do much. Even then, Curious tried to do some pretty neat stuff with making the mob switch up from melee to ranged, or like summoning stuff, going into the air, dropping down, doing that kind of stuff. So he definitely tried to get the most out of it, and then have these little effects that happen every once in a while. I don't even think I've seen that happen on my actual playthrough. But it's just, again, I think the capabilities of just Minecraft and turning a regular mob into a boss fight, I don't think it's a very extensive option that you have with things you can do. But even then, it's still a pretty neat boss fight, as the first one is pretty good. Yeah, rise up gamers, rise up, and now you can cease. So yeah, say it was a pretty decent boss fight. As it's the first proper actual boss fight, I'd say it was pretty good. With that being said, let us proceed onward to the monument. Right, like the monument area looks kind of cool. I feel like this here, this little cavern here, or little, massive quotation marks, I feel like this is not necessary here to be this big, honestly. I don't know, I never even saw this ice down here. What the hell? That's kind of whack. Oh, whatever, I digress. But yeah, this feels like a bit too much and not necessary, but again, that's just my opinion. This place looks cool. Again, the only tad bit of an issue I have with this is that it's way too long. Like having to go, it's gonna be weird for me to explain this, but I'll try and do it, so bear with me. Is that you have this little walk in here. This just basically goes down so you can take a boat and then go down to the next area. And then you have this longest cavern with the monument in the middle. And then you have some more walking, and then some more walking, and then you get to the power-up thing, and then the teleporter. I really wish this teleporter was not like this. If it was circular and not like in a straight line. But again, it's just nitpicking at this point, to be honest. Because I prefer circle teleporters over like vertical ones, I suppose. But yeah. But other than that, I also would have loved like a little pre-made sort of section of the monument where you can put your base. Like say, for example, like around this area, this was a bit more cleaned out, and there was a little like already pre-made section that you can use to store your stuff, and you don't need to make everything just right off the bat yourself. Other than that though, like the monument area does look pretty cool. It does feel a bit redundant that those caves are there and then just sort of there to exist, I suppose, but again, that's just personal nitpicking. I'm not saying that it doesn't look good, it's just that I would have done it in a different way. So yeah, but again, right, if might as well while we're here, let's talk about the power-up system. Yeah, I feel like these poor villager boys didn't get enough love. At least I think I've only bought like this from him, and like the steak, and then that's about it. Because otherwise it doesn't really seem all that good. This thing is pretty decent, but yeah. I don't think I've ever used this, honestly. At least I can't remember if I've done this, but again, it's cool that it's in there, but I just never used it. So yeah, upgrades. So you make 9 emeralds into an emerald block, you put it on the emerald monument, you get a bedrock block, and then you get an upgrade block, and then you can upgrade different stuff. So all together we had like what, agility, bloodlust, which was healing if I'm not mistaken, or strength, regen, yeah, it's pretty self-explanatory, lifesteal, again same, scavenger, vitality, and then sky strike and firewalk. So I'm gonna say right off the bat, I think the 2 most unironically powerful things that actually make it maybe 3 were scavenger, especially once you get to the next intersection, or the last intersection. Did bloodlust did strength, yeah? If I'm not mistaken, it does. Yeah, bloodlust was very stupidly strong, so was agility, and then scavenger, I think, were the 3 strongest ones. Scavenger mainly for the purposes of like getting resources and then being able to put it into different use by the merchant and then getting food and stuff like that. But once you get diamonds from that shit's broken as hell, especially if you do it like me and you accidentally find intersection 4 early on. But just getting speed and strength when you kill a mob, just having the extra potion effect, especially the movement in most CTMs, it is a very, very useful thing to get something like that. The other ones were pretty decent too, like regeneration. If you don't take damage for X amount of time, you get some regen effect kicking in. Lifesteal is pretty good once, but again, that's only really useful if you take a lot of damage and then you start killing a lot of things and then you quickly get all that things back. Vitality is just an absorption shield. I mean, it's pretty decent. It's like you get a golden apple free every 2 minutes or whatever it was time wise, I think 30 seconds even. So yeah, so you get a free golden apple every 30 seconds minus the regen. Now these 2. Firewalk was a complete meme. Like, I don't think, ironically, okay, let me rephrase that. So Firewalk was, again, it's a complete meme, and I can see some use for it. Like, now that if I think back on it, in certain, like for example, if I got that as the first one, in certain areas it maybe could have been of use of being able to get that quick because the speed booster, that is what's the really important bit, and then not the fire as of the burning effect, but using it as a light source. That's the magic and the goodness of Firewalk. Not the fire damage itself, but the fact that it gives you such a huge speed bonus that you can use to zoom around and in between things. And then the fact that the flames you place down actually light up and stay there and light the area. That's really useful. In certain areas, I think, earlier on, that could have been really useful. But again, I still think it's a complete meme. And I think Sky Strike is just bad, honestly. Like, you get damaged by it. If it damages a creeper, it supercharges them. It has a really cool low activation cooldown, or not activation chance. But again, otherwise it would be kind of overpowered, I think. Maybe not, I don't know. But I'm just not a fan of I think this is probably the worst upgrade. And then this I didn't really get much out of, I don't think. The little doubles the effects of all the other ones. But again, it's neat that there's an extra hidden one. That's pretty cool. I did enjoy that quite a bit. So yeah, so overall I think it's a good that whole power-up mechanic is pretty decent. I think the only miss as a mechanic or a power-up was Sky Strike. The other ones, while just sort of being a straight buff, I suppose, or buff effect when you kill something, an on-kill effect, it's still pretty strong and still pretty decent. Like, once you get that movement going and then you have the speed, strength, you have a good item, you're jumping about, you're critting stuff, you're killing things. Once that starts going and then it starts rolling down the hill, the big snowball, like an avalanche. So it's pretty decent overall, I'd say. Again, except for Sky Strike. Sorry, Sky Strike fans watching, but also, what the hell is all this? Weird. Okay. So yeah, that was the monument. Let's proceed on with the next area, which was the crystalline subterrane. Yes. Now I've always had a I'm always been a massive sucker for crystals. So early on, this is my favorite area, just solely because of the crystalline design and all that. Again, pretty straightforward. I did like this bit here of like the crystals going through the wooden platforms, or maybe like basically going through them. So that was a pretty neat concept, and I did really enjoy. This bit felt a bit off. I mean, sort of it's like where the miners are sleeping, I guess, but it doesn't seem like there's much of a I mean, upstairs there's like sort of a mining operation going, but like it's weird. I don't get it in any case. But these little boys here I really enjoyed. This was a really neat mob design, I suppose. And this whole area, just like the cavern going down, and with like the little crystalline trees and the little shaman boys, I think they were called, that just kept summoning on and on and on endlessly. I thought that was pretty neat. So overall, so far as we're here right now in the map, this is my favorite area so far of the bunch, honestly. Again, that is mostly thanks to the crystalline design to it. Goddamn this guy, I hate him. Goddamn, whatever their name, Ravagers. I'm sad none of this was primed. This would have been a great opportunity. I mean, there's still a danger of a creeper exploding with TNT and then the emerald going boom boom. But still, I would have loved if like maybe 2 of them were primed. Just a bit more evilness. But yeah, Cooney doesn't seem to be using traps that much, because like I think the only trap I remember right off the bat is the bat trap in intersection 1, and then that's it. So that's the way we came. We need to go the opposite direction. We need to go up on this one. Yeah. I also think I remember there was a trap here, right? There's like a hole in the thing. Yeah, but it's like filled in. Yeah, I don't get this, like, because this doesn't open up. So maybe you had the trap set up, but then you were like, yeah, I'm not gonna do that because I'm not that mean. Or like, I don't know, because this would have been better if you just opened this up and then if you fall down to the void. But yeah, now we get to intersection 2. And I think the first area was Leviathan, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it was. So this early bit I really enjoyed, of like the life and death on either side. And this was a pretty cool idea, because this is when we actually got the first like major area mechanic, sort of you needing to unlock the generators or destroy the generators so that the shield can fall and then you can enter. That was a really cool concept, although I did take me a couple of minutes to react, because this one isn't working. I thought this one was already turned off at first, so I was like, what am I supposed to do with these? This one's already turned off, so how do I turn this one off? Do I have to destroy the block itself? Do I just need to put something above it so that the beam doesn't stop? Because then this one's already stopped. So you get what I'm saying. But other than that, and I like, now that I'm looking at it, of how he hid the beacon beams behind, or this one at least, hid behind a lava fall. And I guess theoretically, if you couldn't, if it doesn't. Since when does this shit go through bedrock? Or is it an end frame just retextured? Well, anyway. But yeah, this was a really nice hidden emerald back here. I really enjoyed that one. And that was good. So wasn't there like one on this side too? Or am I just misremembering that? No, there was one here. I think this was the one that was hidden better. Yeah, this one was hidden real good. With like the little stairs and then the slabs hiding most of it, so you can't see really that well through it. It's pretty good. So then once you get the generators, you can enter the actual lab itself. And now we get to this area, and then my new favorite one is already off the park from Crystalline Subterrane, because this one is, I just have a massive sucker again for these types of areas. This like more modernish looking stone slabby, just very rectangular, not a natural like cavern or something, but like something built into it, like this one, like a building, something like this. I'm just a massive sucker for these as well. And while there wasn't too much of a complicated gameplay loop, here you go down each level and then you clear out each level one by one. It still was pretty fun, especially the little change here with the lower floor being corrupted by the nether. That's a really neat extra touch. Really enjoyed that. And then we get to this bit, which it feels really weird. I don't know. Like, at first I thought we were going into the nether because how it looked like, and maybe that could have been a good idea of how to extend this area a bit, because I don't think it was that long to begin with, and I forgot that these guys are coming now. But yeah, maybe that could have been like a real good extra addition, that you get down here and then you open up the box and then it isn't there, and then you find like a note from like some corrupted nether researcher or something writing that like half readable, that yeah, we've taken the crystal into the nether because like they told us to do so, and then we need to take him to the nether king or what. You know what I'm saying? It's like basically like there's an entity in the nether from the laboratory that spread his corruption into the laboratory, and then they brought the crystal to him, or to it, or just into the nether. And then you have like an extra little bit of a section of like this, but in the nether, or like a cavern or something where like the box actually is. I think that would have been cool. I'm not saying that this isn't cool, but it's just kind of weird how there's like these guys just pop out. I mean, sure, they're coming from the portal. I'm not dumb, but still, is a tiny bit weird, in my opinion. It's a weird, sort of anticlimactic way to end this area, I would say, because everything up to this point were like pretty decently going up on the scale, and then it just kind of fall flat on its face, in my opinion, in this actual final section. But that's, other than that, the area itself is pretty good. It's just a little what the hell is this? It's just a little end bit that I'm not too keen on. I really want to open that chest, so that's what we're going to be doing. I'm gonna check out what should be here somewhere, right? Am I going insane? There was a chest here. I wasn't the only one that saw that, right? Look, it's a bit higher up. Alright, it should be on this side. Like there. Oh, these are just the books. No, this is a different one. Hang on. I think we haven't. I think these aren't the Imwade book tag. What? Okay, weird. Right, any case. But yeah, fun area, but I think the final bit fall a bit flat on its face. But still pretty neat, nonetheless. So next up on the list, we've got the Frigid Divide, right? Yeah, and then Ashen's the last one. Yeah. Frigid Divide was a really nice looking area, I gotta say. Like, design wise, I think early areas, this is the one that looks the best, in all honesty. Especially with all these ice spikes like protruding from the wall and all that. And I really love this little valley, or valley of like houses here or whatever, or this little village, I guess you could call it, in there. It's got a really good flow to it. I admit I was retarded because I'd never really noticed. I just went past this, even though it's like clearly marked with a bunch more glowstone. That it's something important here. Come on, look over here. Something's important. You should probably go check that out. It's completely my fault that I didn't check that and I was stupid. But yeah, so the main mechanic of this area is that you gotta find 2 armor pieces. You gotta get all of them, equip them, and then you can enter the final bit of the area, which is down there. But yeah, even just this section in and of itself, it's like you go around this little outer bit of the valley, and then you come up here, you find more the other armor piece. Again, loving the ice spikes protruding from everywhere. It looks pretty good. I like how that there's no connection between. I mean, technically speaking, you could like try and go about here, but there is no proper built-in connection that you have to go around it. I actually kind of like that a tad bit. And then this massive walk down was pretty neat. There's a lot of loot in this as well. A lot of decent loot everywhere in this area, especially. I don't know if there's were ever a gravel trap in here, but I doubt there was, because again, Kuni doesn't seem to be the kind of guy that traps a lot of things. This thing kind of felt out of place again with the spiders and the cobwebs, because this wasn't really much of a spider section of this earlier on in this area. There's not much notion for it to be a spider area, but again, I digress, just nitpick. And then you get to this bit, which is the cool part of this, is just a massive fuck off ravine, layered with like different wooden platforms, and then you just run around it, get to the bottom bit, and then you get the crystal right here at the very bottom of the divide, I suppose you could say. And I like how there's again two sides you can go. You can go downstairs, which was the actual main path, or you could go upstairs where there's resources and extra objectives. I don't think I've ever checked any of these chests before, because I just didn't dare to go up on these. Would have they been worth it? I mean, there's some pretty decent armor. It's pretty good. And some pretty good equipment too. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty that's actually really decent. With the protection 3 mending and protection 5, that is really goddamn good. What the hell? And then we have one of the worst and at the same time one of the worst and one of the best hidden emeralds. This one here. Again, Kuni himself told me that this is the most evil emerald he hid in the entire map, and a lot of people had issue finding this one, me included, because it was so goddamn well hidden. But yeah, this was a really fun area. Like, from a design perspective, from like a gameplay perspective, again, had a neat, cool mechanic again. It's been a reoccurring theme of the areas here having a unique twist on them and a unique mechanic to them. And that's going to be something that we see later on down the line as well as we go on. And then the last area is the Ashen Stronghold for this intersection. I'm going to use this because I don't know where this would have taken us. Oh, there you go. Perfect. So yeah, Ashen Stronghold, aka big fuck off fortress that it's going to be great to conquer. I like this little initiation bit. It's kind of neat, I guess, that it doesn't just immediately plop you into the fortress, or like right at the entrance of the fortress. You gotta go to a little cave and then some little like battalions or some little wall sections, and then you get to the main bit of the fortress. The only real issue I had with this area is it feels a bit too unnecessary grandiose, I guess, if that makes sense. Because these bits were good here. Like, if we had more of these, also this was also very meanly hidden emerald. This took me a long time to find too. If we had more sections like this, honestly, that would have been great, because like this just feels like a big empty main room. This section was also cool. I think the only issue I have is just this bit here. Feels a bit too big and unnecessarily big at that. This was also, again, all fine, had nothing wrong with that. It's just this bit that kind of sticks out to me as like a sore thumb, I suppose. Again, just extra little emerald here. There's like a little cave section, which also took me a while to find for the other bonus emerald. Again, also pretty neat that you just have some random side areas you can explore to get more stuff. But yeah, other than that, except for this little bit here, again, fantastic area altogether, good design. And then there's a boss fight here as well. This is the next. Oh, sorry about that. Didn't sleep that good last night. This is the second actual proper boss fight, which unfortunately he kind of offed himself on me, which was a shame, because I really wanted to fight him properly. But again, he kind of just offed himself, and I don't know how he did it and why he did it, because I really would have loved to fight him properly. Kind of want to see what his attacks, sorry, if he's got any extra attacks. Come on. Okay, so he summons blazes that I've had that happen. And he died after the swarm them command. So he just drops a bunch of piglins on your face. More. Blazes, everything's on fire. Rise up, gamers. Yeah. Summons wither skeletons. Holy shit. Okay, that was kind of neat. Tear them to pieces. I am assuming. Oh, it makes cave spiders as well. Great. Wonder, does he have any drops? Come on. He's almost dead, boys. He's almost dead. Come on, guy. Just. Yeah, no one cares about your pigments. Fuck off. And there. He would have not dropped any loot, which is a shame. But yeah, this guy offed himself on me. It would have been a fun fight, especially with the thunder attack. But again, it's just what I've said beforehand, is that you can't really do much unless you're very tech savvy and very much know how to. Otherwise, you can't really make much out of a natural mob in the game for a boss fight, because it just does not work that well in this game again. And then this is the section that goes into the next part. This was a nice little like in between area, I guess, the connecting area. Again, a Moment's Respite is very fitting, to be fair. That's kind of cool, just to calm down, gather your thoughts after the tough boss fight. Unless it wasn't, like, for me. But yeah, it was pretty neat, just a little calming something. Although, I don't think there's any extra loot in here or anything. So other than the fact that it's just here and purely exists to exist, there's nothing really too much to it, I suppose. But again, it is what it is. And then we get to probably my least favorite intersection 3, which it looks good, don't get me wrong. What I hate about it though is that how unnecessary long these little walkways, or walkways I guess, quote unquote, are. That's about it. Everything else I like about this is just that one little tiny nitpick of a thing, that these things are way too long, like way too long. But yeah, so in session 3 we start with some lag, and then we start with the infested marsh, aka Shrek Swamp. So yeah, again, bringing back the clay. Always a massive fan of using stained clay for cables and stuff like that, so already good in the book. This is a massive area, and I think this is the worst offender to not having enough honeypots. And I have heard, well, not have heard, I know for a fact that Cooney has released a patch slash update slash whatever you want to call it for the map that kind of rebalances mobs and bosses and stuff. I don't know if he does anything on the honeypot side of things, but this area was the worst offender when it came to the mob spawn, because it's just, again, it's all under, it's above water on small islets. There's a couple places here that could have mob spawn inside of them. Everything was just clusterfucked around on these islands. The whole idea of this area was pretty neat. I really enjoyed it. Of like having to hop from island to island, see what you can find on each one, figure out which one you actually gotta go to, realizing it's probably the biggest one, the furthest part of the cavern. So that was pretty cool. And then learning that you need to use this device to head underground to the cave system. And I kind of got mind-flooded at first, because I thought that it's just gonna like literally just point. So you could have found the box without the compass help, so you can just like go down into the cavern system under, and then you spend enough time, you'll find it eventually. I didn't figure, and I didn't think that you would have to actually physically dig through a wall here. I was unexpected, and I think how it worked, because it like probably was tagged to a mob that was spawning constantly behind here. Oh. I'm sorry. I'm not bored at the map. I just had a really shit sleep last night, so I'm really tired, but I wanted to get this out anyway, so I digress. But yeah, cool. Again, we're seeing the trend of cool mechanics coming back for each area, and from this point on, it's pretty much a guarantee for every single area that there's a neat mechanic slash twist onto the area itself, which is good because not only do the areas look a lot better now, and design wise they also look way more cooler, but adding the extra fact that there's now cool mechanics and twists on the area itself, it definitely makes it a lot more cool and a lot more good. So yeah, overall, minus the fact that there was just a clusterfuck of mobs everywhere, it was a fun area. It is really good. The little mechanic of finding it with a compass was kind of weird. Didn't understand it at first, but after I found it, it all made sense. Oh my god, I need to have like a coffee or something. This is getting out of hand. So yeah, Shrek Swamp is pretty good, minus the clusterfuck of mobs. But like design wise, it's great. Okay, next up on the list, Citadel of the Deep, and then the burial grounds with it. So yeah, this was probably, now that I think of it, the worst offender to having not enough honeypots. Like by default, just a lot of spawners in here for I'd say no apparent reason at all, to be honest. And then coupled with the fact that there's just a metric shit ton of mobs spawning in here, because it's a big open dark area. Of course they're gonna spawn. It's free real estate for them. So yeah, this was a pretty interesting area. I really liked the thematic and the design of it. Felt, can we use this in spectator mode? Oh yeah, night vision doesn't work with this. Okay, we're good now. Yeah, I could just fly through. I don't know what I'm doing. But yeah, so this felt very sinister. And I like the fact that we're optifying Kuni made some effects, so it's like perpetually dark. That was extremely cool. This is a really neat area. I'd say probably just really simple, straightforward design. Again, new mechanic once again, having to find 4 items to open the gate here. And again, they were in pretty obvious spots too, which is not an issue. It's actually pretty decent, I think. It's got a symmetrical design to it. It's very straightforward, very simple. It's good. It's just good, honestly. It's like this is probably the case of less is more. Honestly, you didn't need to have any over-the-top things in it, anything super fancy. Just a well-designed area, well-thought-out concept, cool aesthetics, cool mechanic, and there you have a 10 out of 10 area, I'd say, for sure. And then you get down over yonder, and you find out that, but wait, there's more. And then we get to the burial grounds, aka JoJo Part 7, Steel Bar Run, collecting the corpse parts, the Minecraft area. Cemetery areas I've always been a fan of, honestly, as well. And this one was done very well English. This one was done well too, I'd say. Really like this little small huts. This is a very long area too, by the way. Especially having to go around and collect those things up, which are just hidden randomly in these buildings. This one took a while, but I like how combat oriented this one was. And again, like I said before, the cool mechanics for each area keep on coming. We have to collect 7 parts of the boss, and then you have to assemble him based off of a puzzle, and then you have to fight him. So as far as the bosses go, minus I'd say probably the last boss, the Abyss King. This is probably the second best boss, just because of the prerequisite of how you summon him and how it's done. Because I think this was really good on that regard of how this one was made, of like having to again find the parts, the pieces of him, figuring out a puzzle, and then going off of that. It's good. It's really good. So this was just a fun, heavy combat oriented area, which again was a bit of a switch up from the previous one, which was more of an enclosed area with not much combat going on, very easy to just jump about and then go and clear out sections of it quickly one after another. This one you couldn't really do that because a lot of mob spawners, a lot of natural spawns again, because the amount of honeypots is damn not enough, but still pretty good area nonetheless. Now we're gonna again see the trend of these areas that are just like, they take on an identity of how they want to feel and what they are trying to be and what Kune is trying to accomplish with those areas, and then just focusing on that one concept and then just executing that. In most cases, almost perfectly, I'd say. And then if we can find where the hell the exit is, then we can go to our next area, the last of the intersection. Where the hell? Hang on. Do give me a second. I'm completely lost. Sorry. Here, I found it. Right, and then the last of I'm not technically not the last area because we still got the brown crystal, but we've got the Shattered Hollow. Now, as far as mechanics go, I think this one takes the cake for having the coolest mechanic for the entire area, and then having an area built around that. Let me rephrase that. So having an area built around that one concept completely, that one idea, that one item, that one mechanic, and then using it to its fullest potential. So what the mechanic here was is that you had a crossbow that if you shoot at these lapis blocks, you teleport to them. Add in the fact that there's just void everywhere, so doing those little teleports is actually a pretty big nerve wrack. And then you get to this massive fuck off ice pillar that goes off into 7 gajillion different places and splits off into more subsections of the cavern and all. And it's just a very well designed area altogether. This was probably the first area that I felt in the entire map that, except for like the beginning part when you had shit gear and stuff like that, this was probably the one section where I felt actual danger early on, and maybe a tiny bit later at the end game, but mostly just here. But this was the prime example of like, God, if I make one mistake, like jump at the wrong time, because again the archers boy here that were spawning here had punch bows, and then the ice is slidey, so add the 2 and 2 together, you could easily take a swim into the void. So this definitely felt like, I forgot to mute Discord, sorry about that. But yeah, this was the proper first area that I felt there was a sense of danger and urgency, that if I fuck something up, then it might actually cause me another life. Which thankfully it didn't, but again, the stress and then the thing above your head was right there that, again, any given time, if you mess something up, you could be done zoned, like that. So yeah, and then from here, there's multiple ways you can go. One of them goes to intersection 4, but there's also another area hidden here. If I can find where it is, which took me a long time to find, because again, this area is massive. A lot of little ways you can go here and there, so bear with me for a millisecond, and I think it's this way, yep. And then we have the brown crystal, which again is supposed to be the meme and the joke area of most maps, but this is a proper serious area again, I'd say. The Venomous Glades. Again, design-wise, looks phenomenal. Again, clay blocks, saved clay blocks, matches really well with the mycelium. The main mechanic of this was that the water is poisonous, for one, and then you have to kill some shamans to lower the water's poison level. Now, technically speaking, you probably could just still swim into this and then survive with half a heart and then hope you can get out, technically speaking, unless there's like a specific command that if you don't have all those 3 witches killed, then at a certain depth or something it just insta-kills you. I don't know. And then the other mechanic added to this was that there were some erected pillars here. Now the really cool thing I like about this, and I only realized this now as I was like editing stuff and looking back in hindsight after finishing the map, is that when you get to this point, unless you've gone to intersection 4 first and have unlocked the scavenger upgrade, you're still unlocking an iron pickaxe. So then you get here, and then you see these pillars, and that's the exact reason why the first pillar's core block here is not made of obsidian, because there's no diamonds in here. Then you get here, it's like, oh look, diamonds, cool. So you start picking them up, and then you go further in, and then realize that the totem core pieces are made out of obsidian. So then you necessarily need to have a diamond pick to be able to mine these faster. Otherwise, you're gonna just be making a very, very big hustle on yourself for having those totems alive as long as they are. So the red ones gave speed and attack damage, I think, and the blue one gave invulnerability. Both of these are pretty cool when they start stacking up on each other, and then you can't really break anything, neither the mob spawners or the thing. It does become a bit of a nuisance, but a nuisance in the way that it's a good mechanic, I think. Because I don't think any of this was badly designed. I think this was very well designed and thought out. I don't know what happened here. The witch again just offed herself. So a lot of cases where I've had that happen, that certain mobs just off themselves for no apparent reason apparently. But yeah. Other than that though, again, really neat idea, really cool execution, and just a well designed area in general. That being said, let us proceed on to the final stretch of the map, intersection 4, which I feel like is in some degree the map loses a bit of its punch, I guess, at least in one specific area. Where the fuck is the intersection, dude? Come on. Am I just give me a second, I'll need to find this goddamn intersection. Alright, I found it. About goddamn time. I don't know why it says totem nearby when there clearly isn't a totem nearby, but whatever. So yeah, and then we get to the final bit of the map, intersection 4. So let's start not wasting time. Let's go to the first area, testing facilities. Ooh, weird as lag. So yeah, this area altogether, minus one particular section, is probably my favorite area. Just how it looks, how it's designed, the mobs, just everything about this early section of just the lab itself, I'd say is perfection, honestly, for all the reasons. Again, how it looks, how it's designed, the gameplay elements, the mobs, just everything. Again, the cool mechanics for each area is back. For this one is that you can't reach the crystal yet because it's not there yet. You have to do some experiments to quote-unquote summon the crystal. And then the experiments are basically 3 side areas that you've got to do here. I don't know why those guys kept spawning. That was sort of annoying, and I don't understand why. And then the test areas, I think I'm kind of conflicted on if I think these are good or if these are not good. This one is just pure chaos. I like this one quite a bit because it was just chaotic as hell. Because when you're in here, you get a massive movement speed boost and jumping boost, I think, as well. But so do the mobs. So everything that's here is super fast, you included, and the mobs as well. So this was fun. This was just pure chaos. I like this quite a bit. The second one, again, this suffers from the same fact that there's just way too many spawners here. I don't know why Kuni put in so many goddamn spawners here. I guess the reason why is because the mechanic here was that God damn it. The mechanic was not me yawning. It was me probably needing to go to bed earlier. Actually trying to get some decent sleep, for fuck's sakes. The mechanic here was that they teleport to you at certain periods of time. All entities, pretty much. So assume in that case, then more spawners equals more mobs equals more things you can teleport to, or things that can teleport to you, I guess. So yeah, sort of justified, I suppose. But my god, this last thing, why did it have to be cobwebs and spiders, Kuni? Just why? Who thinks of low gravity? Honestly, if you like walk out on the street like right now, don't do that because there's COVID. If you like make a Google poll online and you ask people, write down the first 3 words that come to your mind when I say low gravity, I'd bet my kidneys and probably my firstborn child as well that none of those 100 people, except it's you, is going to write spiders or cobwebs on that list. Maybe the only reason, and I think I may have just fucked myself over when I lost my firstborn child, is that there was like some experiment that they sent spiders to the National International Space Station to see how their cobweb forming works in low gravity. I suppose that could be a case, but still, are those 100 people gonna say that? Probably not. No. Yeah, I'm just gonna be straight up. I hated this section so much. I'm already a massively not a fan of spider areas, of cobwebs and such, especially to this magnitude. And the problem again wasn't the fact that there's cobwebs here. The problem is that there's a ridiculous amount of spawners. Just look at this. How many spawners do you see in this picture or in this frame? Like a lot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Oh, there's a lot of spawners. It's a ridiculously unnaturally high amount of spawner numbers. But yeah, this, and then the fact that there's supercharged creepers later down the line. I remember when I was back here, I was still messing about trying to get to this thing from the side. There was just like a galore of supercharged creepers here, just fucking vibing for some reason. So yeah, everything up until this point of the area, if you could just like cut this thing off here, like just cut this off and then just have this, and only 2 items to summon the crystal, would have been great. But this fucking spider thing just, in my opinion, just ruined the entire thing. Honestly, everything was so good until that point, but that just it made it all fall apart, in my opinion. Also, I'm kind of surprised. I feel like this should have been like blocked in or something. It hasn't happened to me, but like if a supercharged creeper like this blows up here, the thing can't spawn then, right? I would assume that's how it works. Surely, right? But in any case, that's just an observation I wanted to make. In any case, let us proceed back into the intersection. Let's move on to the final to last area, the Ember Crossroads. Probably this is the one area that's like core area mechanic was the weakest in my opinion. With just summoning mobs behind you. Oh, there's a chest here, didn't even see that. Essence of Chaos. Okay, let me investigate this. What are you? Everything must die. Max health, speed, attack damage. Damn, that's a lot of attack damage. Although it halves your armor, but still. Pretty neat. But yeah. This was a pretty neat area, design-wise. Also a big fan of fire areas. This was at the point in the map where I wouldn't say I got tired of fighting all the natural spawns, but I sort of did. And then combined with the fact that there will spawns here too from the spawners, I just kind of want to just whoosh through the entire thing, which is a shame because this area looks pretty, like very, very pretty. I wanted to take more time to take all in and enjoy it, but like otherwise this would have taken me, if I just go very slowly, systematically, kill everything in my path and then break the spawners and then light up whole thing and then rinse and repeat, this would have taken me ages to clear. This is a very big area. Very good when at that. Okay, you can chill outside there, that's fine. But yeah, mechanic was yet to, I mean, there's 2 mechanics. One of them is that there's things following you constantly. The other one is that there's specific blocks that you have to destroy that are basically on fire. And if you do so, and if you get a certain amount of them, then the teleport opens, and then you can get to the lower section, which is where the crystal is held. There's another little boss fight here. Kind of neat. You get the crystal, and then that's pretty much it. So again, cool area, but this definitely was the point where I felt like I was way too overpowered, and I could just like go through everything like a knife through butter, and I didn't feel like I need to deal with anything because there was no need to do so. I mean, in my opinion, I could just run past all of them. But yeah, and then after this point, we've only got one more area left to tackle, and that is none other than the finale of the map, the Abyss, the lag. So yeah, again, design wise, very cool. like the big open, spooky looking area. Feels very alien, which is very nice. I mean, I haven't found the emeralds here. I wanna see if I can find them. I do have a suspicion where they could be. Probably on the two sides here. That's where the end bit is. Yeah, there's one here. Yeah, I could have easily gone and just grabbed these, to be honest. But that is besides the point. This beginning section of the area, I mean, sure, it's like the main part of this area is the boss fight, but as you're entering that, you don't know that you're gonna have a boss fight in here, or two boss fights to be precise. So you don't really know that. Oh, goddamn! Until you get to it. So until then, this feels kinda hollow, I'd say. This area, there's not much going on. There's no neat mechanic attached to this one. It's just void and then little bit of a thing you have to go through, and then that's it. It's actually quite short now that I look at it. It's just like you go around this circle, you do another circle, and then you're there. So I don't know, it feels kind of hollow. I don't want to make assumptions or anything because I really don't want to, but I don't know, like, did you run out of time or motivation, Cooney, or what happened? Because this, compared to the previous areas of the intersection, it feels a bit hollow to me. I don't know. It's weird. In any case, I digress though. So, and then we get down to here, and we're told that we are getting our first boss fight, which is the Abyss Knights. And I don't really wanna go to the whole boss fight again. You kill a bunch of skeletons who keep duplicating themselves, and then once you kill all of them, and then the Abyss King is like, you know what I actually do, because I want to talk about the arena of the Abyss King. Hang on. Ah, fuck. You know what, as much as I don't want to go through the hassle of killing though the skeletons. It's gonna take a while. But yeah, basically, unless we can find it, maybe just out of pure coincidence. Okay, that's not it. That's the Venomous Glades. I mean, surely this thing is somewhere here, right? The Abyss King's boss arena, right? Let's stir up those chunks a tiny bit. Okay, that's a wall. Okay, I found it. Cool. So once you kill the little skeleton minions, his lieutenants, I assume, you get to this. This is the main boss fight area. I really like the mechanic. That was probably the best boss mechanic in the entire map, of him removing sections of the wall, not the wall, sections of the arena, and then you getting pulled up into it and getting dropped down to the ground. That's pretty cool. Actually, would have gotten my second death if it wasn't for the totem I had on me. And I've also heard that in that update he was talking about, he did buff this area and this boss quite a bit. And now, okay, never mind. Yeah, I don't know what happened, because when I... Oh yeah, no, because I downloaded this thing again for the purposes. Yeah, this is what I was talking about. He... I mean, so if you fall down here, and even if you survive the totem, you get Wither 6 and Soulness 6, so it would take you a long way. So most likely you're dead anyway if you fall down there. So yeah. But very cool boss, very neat idea. Probably the best boss in the entire game, or in the map, to be fair. And again, it was to be kind of expected as a final boss. His section of the platform removing thing was very, very neat. Did enjoy that quite a bit. Almost got me, but not quite. So yeah, overall, the boss was cool, but the little prelude area felt a bit flat to me, I suppose I could say. So yeah. And other than that, that's the entire map. I definitely enjoyed the map, to be fair. It was a real fun experience. I don't know if this is Kunis' first map or not, but if it was the first one, which again, I don't want to assume things because I have no fucking clue. Maybe it is the first one. If it is the first one indeed though, then definitely good job, because as a first attempt, this is like 100% better than what I have going on my first map, still in work in progress. So congrats, man. Enjoyed it a bunch, and I can't wait to see Dark Realms 2 Electric Boogaloo. So yeah. Oh, I should probably not be a disembodied head for the outro. Oops. Right, well, hope you guys have enjoyed this little fly through of the map, giving my thoughts and such on the matter. Again, thank you for Kuni for making this amazing map. Enjoyed it quite a lot. If you haven't played it, go play it for yourself, because it is real fun. The redesign will continue as usual. I've got something special coming back relatively soon. Hopefully you guys will enjoy that too. It involves a specific slime as well. So yeah, other than that, I hope you guys have enjoyed this little review, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care, bye.